Good morning, good morning, good morning. 5 o'clock in the morning. Story time. Man, Mercury in retrograde, man. Who can sleep? Not me. I mean, obviously I sleep, but yeah. Anyways, hope everybody's doing good. I was just sitting here going through pictures, reminiscing about my life with my mom and me. Beautiful, beautiful mama. She's so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see her so well. I miss her. She loved me so much, especially when I was little. Especially before Jack. My mama went through a lot. She didn't share a lot, but she went through a lot. So, talked about the puppy dying, first grade, going through all that crap. My mom was working 3 jobs, was constantly gone. Maybe she was working 1 job, and that's when she fell into drugs and was with her guy that she thought she was in love. I don't know. I didn't feel like she was good enough, and so when she thought my grandma was better, my grandma was raising my little sister and I. Very, very rarely seen my mom. Very few memories of her before 4th grade. But I was going through some pictures, and my grandma was mean. She used to call me a fat cunt and a stupid bitch and a slut since I can remember. Basically, I remember 1st grade and up. I don't really remember kindergarten too much. I remember 1st grade and up. But 1st grade, my teacher was horrible. Her name, I can't say her name, but we'll say Mrs. Tweederson. She had red hair and she was so mean. But my grandma would call me fat. My ex-best friend would make fun of my tallness, my big feet, my big nose. I think I was pretty freaking cute for, I was tall for my age, but it's not like I asked to be made like that. And it's not like there was anything wrong with that. It's pretty crazy that such young kids can compare and be just such bullies at that age. I can't fathom it. It's crazy. I just want to protect my little girls. My son was bullied when he was really young. I just want to protect these kids. I just want parents to not be bullies, to not teach their kids to be bullies, to not, whatever. But anyways, this picture of me when I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade. My grandma used to call me fat. She called me fat so much that I literally developed an eating disorder, ended up getting on drugs, believed I was fat even when I was skin and bone. I always thought I was so fat. My grandma would always call me so fat. This is when I was a teenager, right before I got kicked out when I was 14. Anyways. Oh, more picture. Oh, that's like, I think 2nd grade or 3rd grade me. And that's my little sister. And that was my grandma's rat, Lucy. I'm pretty freaking pretty. I'm pretty. I'm pretty. And I had the meanest ex-best friend who was the biggest bully she'd be like, try on my flip-flops. Oh my gosh, you got such big feet. You such big feet, blah, blah, blah. And then she'd be like, oh, look at your nose in the mirror. Oh my gosh, you got such big nose. I remember one time I went over to her house when her grandma lived in this big blue house by the park. And she used to like to make me watch scary movies with her. And it sucked because I already never felt safe. And I remember she straightened my hair. And she let me wear these clothes. She put me in these clothes. And she's like, oh, you can have these clothes, blah, blah, blah. This is when I was like older, I don't know. 3rd grade, I think. Maybe 2nd grade, 3rd grade. But she's like, you can have these clothes. Maybe I was in 4th grade. And I was like, okay, thanks. And she got me feeling so good about myself. And then her boyfriend come over. And as soon as he come over, she like flipped on me. And she's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. I did Misty's hair and all of this. And those are my clothes. She had to make sure that he knew that those were her clothes. And after she told me that I could have them, when my mom got there to pick me up, she's like, make sure that you go change back into your clothes and leave those clothes here. And so I had to go put my clothes on, and then she like was like making fun of me to her boyfriend about me and my ratty clothes, and I was just like, bro. Yeah, that was my that's what I thought my best friend was growing up. She was such a fucking bitch, dude. But anyways, back to 1st grade. Okay, so I remember it was like 1st grade, maybe 2nd, maybe I don't know. No, I think it was like 2nd grade or 3rd grade. So fast forward to 2nd grade or 3rd grade, right? My grandma's always calling me a like fat bitch, cunt, stupid slut, bull in the china closet, all of this crap. Literally, she would chase me. But I had been abused, obviously. I don't remember it, and I don't remember who did it. But I know that kids, going through what I went through with my daughter, like there's no way that I would know this unless I was, exposed to it. But I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade, and I remember another friend of mine, after the ones moved away that I used to go and wake up in 1st grade, so this is how I know I was older. These other ones moved in, like a trailer next to my old friends, and we'll just call them the Rude family. But they were really awesome. They weren't that rude. But or maybe it was when I was in 1st grade, and maybe it was my one friend and her little brother. I don't remember for sure. What I do remember is me and one of my blonde friends that lived in the trailer court were underneath this like little playhouse slide plastic, like those square plastic things, and they had like the door, but it had like the little slide, and then had like the bench, and you could sit under the bench, and it was like orange and green and yellow or whatever. Yeah, so we had one of those, and I had this big stuffed animal that I had gotten, and my friend and I were sitting underneath that bench of that thingy, and had our pants down, and we were having our like rabbits go down on us. And I remember my grandma being like, what the fuck are you stupid sluts doing? And then she like looked in there, and she was like, you fucking blah blah blah. I was like screaming at me, calling me like, you dirty little skank, get your ass over here. And I remember running down the road laughing, ha ha. Sounds like a 1st or 2nd grade. That's horrible. But so I mean, I was promiscuous at a really young age, and it's because I was exposed to that crap, right? Obviously. It's pretty crazy. There was something else I was thinking about, and now I can't remember. Oh! Also, so after that, I had a friend that lived in the apartments where the missionaries lived or whatever, right? And her and I were exploring our own bodies parts. We were sent out in front of this apartment complex, super young age, like 1st grade, and we're like exploring our lady parts in broad daylight in the freaking front of this apartment complex. And my one ex-best friend bully biatch was riding her bike around. She's like, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing? And we're all like, nothing. And this one girl like pulled this like, it was like the weirdest, it was like a round like spider web looking ball thing, pulled it out of her hoo-ha, and we're all like, what the heck? And I was like, I don't have one of those, that's so cool, where's mine at? And so we take it, she takes it, I never touched it, that's whatever, but whatever. So we take it to her mom, like go around to her apartment, whatever, go inside, and she's like, Mom, what is this? And her mom turns around and she's like, oh, where did you get that? And then she said, And, well, needless to say, I never played with that little girl again. It was so bad. And then there was another time where my ex-best friend bully, Beatrice lady, we were little, she was like, hey, do you want to practice French kissing? And I was like, sure. And I would watch, like, I remember in the apartment complex, when we lived in the apartment complex when I was like 4, I loved Xena, Warrior Princess. Like, she was the shiznit in my book. I still love her to this day. I love Xena. Princess Warrior, yeah! But, anyways. And for those of you who don't know Xena, Xena had a blonde girlfriend. And so I don't know if that's, like, why I was like, whatever. But anyways, so ex-bully Blob bitch, I'm just gonna call her Blob, she was like, hey, you want to practice French kissing? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so, like, she's all like French kissing me or whatever, and I'm getting all super, like, turned on. I was like really young, first grade, second grade, I don't know. And I'm all like, let's take off her pants. And she's like, what? And I'm like motioning, like, so you know that I had been like, it was bad. My mom walked in, and my mom's like, Misty, what are you doing? Misty Dawn, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. My poor mom, all the way up until she left, she was like, are you lesbian? I hope you're not lesbian. Are you lesbian? Are you lesbian? I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, I kind of maybe like girls, I don't know. But no, I'm not lesbian, Mom. Okay, it was a phase. um, and then there was like all these times where that Blob, she was such a bully to me. She had her big brothers who would like back her up on everything, and she had a mom and a dad. Oh, okay. When I was really young, my grandma she hated me. Okay, so I would have to go outside first thing in the morning, like, and then I would have to wait until she called me in. Sometimes her and my little sister would leave and go get Subway and stuff, and she would leave me in the trailer court, but she would lock the door and lock me out of the house. This is like first grade on, okay, and like she spoiled the shit out of my little sister, like and it's not my little sister's fault. I don't hold anything against my little sister, obviously. My little sister turned out to be a really decent human being, regardless of the way we were raised. Like, but so my grandma was like horrible, but my ex best friend's dad, I remember like a couple of nights, but one night in particular, I remember it was like really late, and I'm just sitting there in the field, just sitting there staring at my trailer, and he was like driving by, and he stops on the dirt road, and he's like, Misty, what are you still doing outside? It's a school night, freaking like 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And I was like, I was waiting for my grandma to call me in, and he was like, this is bullshit. He's like, get in the car. So I get in his truck, and I'm like, yay, because he would pick me up all the time and take me to their house, and that's basically why I was friends with his daughter, because he made her be my friend. So maybe that's the problem, is she didn't like me and he made her be my friend. I don't know. Maybe that's why she was such a bully. Probably has something to do with it. But so we show up into his place, and Blob was like, what is she doing here? And he was like, Blob, be nice. And he's like, she can't be outside all night, blah blah blah. Like, her grandma left her outside again, all this stuff. And he totally stood up for me, and I really appreciated him. I appreciate what he did for me when I was a kid. If it wasn't for him, there was I mean, they fed me, they housed me. I don't know if my grandma even ever come looking for me, like those nights that I didn't come home. I don't know. It's crazy. But I don't know. He seems like he was like a pretty decent man. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's what I remember. I remember being picked up and taken over to their house quite a few times and fed, and I didn't feel like completely excluded. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, another memory I have of Blob and her dad is when we were really young. She had this one friend, she had a few friends, but she would have like this one friend over, and this one friend in particular, I remember, this one friend hated me. She was a big girl. She would have her over. I'm being really loud. She would have her over, and then would invite me over as this other girl was leaving, and then talk all this crap on this other girl. But I guess she would do the same thing with me, right? Like as soon as I would leave, or when I wasn't around and this other girl was there, she would be talking major shit on me. And I know this because one time I show up after her friend left, and I show up and blah 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 whatever, and she's all being nice to me, blah 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 whatever, and her dad turned around and he was like, "Dinah or Blob, if you're gonna be," I did not say that. "If you're gonna be mean, if you're gonna talk crap on her, then don't be her friend." Like, and he called her out in front of me, and I was like in 3rd grade. He's like, "Blob, if you're gonna be mean to her or talk crap on her, blah blah blah, then you don't need to be her friend. Like, either be her friend or don't be her friend." And I was like, oh, so I was right, because I would always get like really sad, icky vibes, like whatever. But I was just so desperate to have a friend, to have somebody who gave a shit about me. It really sucked. But yeah. And unfortunately, that never changed. Like, we grew up. I was always considered her my sister, always had her back. And I guess she never, ever, ever, ever had mine. Never not lied. I was her scapegoat. I was always there to make her look good. And as soon as I quit making her look good and quit playing her game and quit being her scapegoat and when I wouldn't go along with her illusion bullshit, that's when she kicks me off of her property, has slandered my name. I was going through the worst time of my life, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I've called and talked to your mom, blah blah blah." And my son, that biatch, called me. I had my phone in my hand. She called me on Messenger, and it was like, and I went to answer it, and it hung up, and I was like, mm-hmm. But then she's sitting there telling my son that I was avoiding her and ignoring her, and that she was trying to get a hold of me when she didn't at all. She wouldn't answer my text messages back. She called me that and then hung up that one time. So, it's 2025, y'all. The year of the snake. So, I don't know if anybody knows that or who knows that and who doesn't. Just so y'all know, 2025 is the year of the snake. All the snakes are showing their faces, so follow your intuition, and if they show you who they truly are, that's who they truly are. Like, it's not what they say, it's what they show. Well, she was a snake in my boot. The uninvited snake in my boot. And I'm glad that she's gone. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.